Ridiculous Crime is a production of iHeartRadio.
Yo, Elizabeth Dutton.
Zaron, Burnett.
You got a second? I got a question for you. I've been waiting to see you.
Yeah.
Okay, thank God. Do you know what's ridiculous?
Yes.
I knew you would know.
I do. Okay. It's a mashup.
Oh, Christ.
It's okay.
I take it back.
Let me read you some of the descriptions, and then you can fill in the blanks for me.
Ooh, yay.
A tribute to the mastery of crisp, spiced, curled potato. With hints of cayenne and paprika, this innovative blank preserves the distinctive and authentic tasting notes of the traditional blank.
Potato, crispy, holds the flavor of blank.
Let me give you another one.
Okay.
Honoring the rich tradition of salted potato shapes, this premium blank features a blend of fine kosher salt and sugar, a subtle homage to the simple perfection of blank.
Is it a pair of shoes?
No,
Okay.
it's let me just break it to you.
Wait,
it's not pretty.
Is it a liquor?
Yes.
Oh, okay, so it's a liquor. I'm close. It's something you drink.
Yeah.
And
it's potato flavored.
Is it a vodka?
It's a vodka.
Okay, so we're on the right track now. Vodka, potato flavor, or honoring potato.
Yeah, so there's two.
Stolichnaya.
No, there's two kinds. One is all about the, spicy curled potato with cayenne and paprika. And the other one is the salted potato shapes, salt, sugar. So I'm telling you today about Arby's vodka.
What? What?
One is Arby's
head.
curly fry vodka, and then they also have a crinkle fry flavored vodka.
Oh, God. They don't have like a meat sauce flavored vodka?
No, but
like
they have like Bloody Mary recipes that you can,
Oh.
and then you shove the fries up in the top, just like as like a little dressing on the top, curly hair.
What is going on in the boardrooms of these businesses that they're like, look, you got a moment,
This is what
Steve?
happens.
Tell them your new idea.
This is what happens. They gather around. They're like, check this out. Ridiculous Crime is recording again, and Elizabeth needs a mashup. Let's get on this, guys. And they like take their jackets off and loosen the ties, and the gals in the room who are really the bosses, they just like crack their knuckles. They get up to the whiteboard, start scribbling them out, and they're like, okay, she's going to love this one.
This is gold.
Yeah, so that's
This
what
makes
it is.
absolutely no sense. No one will buy this.
French fry vodka, 80 proof.
Oh, Lord. Perfect for mixed
drinks. It's all
drinks.
sold out. If you go to arbysvodka.com, the bottles are like, they're supposed to be like $60.
So when they say sold out, did they make like 500 and then like that's how
Do they make any at all?
Oh, good question, Elizabeth. I like your suspicions.
I am very suspicious.
Yeah, skepticism.
Very cynical.
Yeah. Well, if you got a second.
I do.
I have one for you.
Yes.
Okay. This is right up your alley.
Oh.
Right?
Right up my shooter alley.
You with the shooter alley. J Edgar Hoover and the FBI and the U.S. Air Force once went to war against one woman.
Oh.
Yes. This one woman, she was an aviation pioneer, but she'd run afoul of the decency police because this one woman dared Elizabeth to let men and women have fun at a place called the Happy Bottom Riding Club. This is Ridiculous Crime, a podcast about absurd and outrageous capers, heists, and cons. It's always 99% murder-free and 100% ridiculous. Elizabeth. Today, I got a special one for you. I told you this. I think you're going to like this lady. She's one of my favorite American legends.
Oh, okay.
Her name, Pancho Barnes.
Pancho Barnes.
You ever heard of Pancho Barnes?
No, that's a great name, though.
Nice. Okay, to give you a sense of her, I'm just going to lay out her life philosophy. She used to say, I thought you'd dig this. When you have a chance, choose happy.
Oh, yeah. That's good. I like that.
So, you ready to hear the Ballad of Pancho Barnes?
Always.
She was born Florence Leontine Lowe. She came into this world on July 22nd, 1901, basically, almost with the new century. She came by her adventurous spirit naturally. Her grandfather was Thaddeus S.C. Lowe, and in case you don't know, he was an inventor who specialized in balloons, and he was an aviation pioneer. And you're wondering, how was she an aviation pioneer? Great question, Elizabeth.
Yes.
He was the founder of the Army of the Potomac's Balloon Corps, which means he fought for the Union Army under Lincoln. which also means his balloon warfare was the start of American military aviation.
Wow.
He was the father of the U.S. Air Force.
Timely, this.
Right? Yes. So her grandfather, Thaddeus Lowe, also inspired this young tomboy to dream of her own life among the clouds. So when she's 10 years old, he takes her to her first air show. She loves it. Now, you got to keep in mind, the Wright brothers had just flown for the first time when she was 3 years old. Now, 7 years later, they are aviation pioneers, right?
Yeah.
So she sees this and she's like, I got to be in the sky, right? But first, she's a young tomboy. She's like, I should run away from home. So she runs away from home. Now, she grew up in Southern California in a town called San Marino. So for Pancho Barnes, running away meant grabbing a horse and riding to Tijuana.
That sounds great.
Right? Yeah, she was like, in Southern California back when it was mostly ranches.
Sure,
so
it's all orchards.
Yeah, exactly. Orange orchards.
Mm-hmm.
So she just, takes off for Tijuana and has a good old time. Her family finally catches up her and they force her back to America. They enroll her in a religious school.
How old was she when she?
About 12, 13.
Nice.
So one of many religious schools she goes to.
Uh-huh.
Finally, she graduates and she's like, I want to become a veterinarian. And her mother's like, no, that's not a right profession for a young lady. And she's like, but I really love animals. And she's like, no. We're going to put you in art school. That's a good thing for a lady who's creative and fiery like you. And her grandma's like, no. Art school, no. We're going to get her married like all good wayward girls should be. So they arrange a marriage. At this point, she's 19 years old. The marriage is to this reverend. It doesn't last long.
Doesn't sound like a good match.
They were intimate just once on their wedding night. That's it. And eventually, a couple years later, her mother passes away. And this kind of sets something loose in Pancho. She's like, I got to get free. It reawakens in her that sense of longing for adventure. She runs off from her husband, roams America, starts having affairs. She's also a footloose and fancy-free young heiress, a tomboy with money to spend, because when her mother died, she left her about $8 million in 2023 dollars.
Whoa.
Yeah, so she uses her inheritance to party and enjoy life.
So this is like the flapper era.
This is 1924.
Yeah.
She's 23 years old. Sorry, when this first happens, she gets married, she's 19. When the mother passes, she's 23, so this is 1924.
Yeah.
Right? So, flapper era, total the it girl, Clara Bow is the thing. And she, by the way, is a pilot. So, this is in the air, if you will. So she decides, I'm going to go out and get me some adventure now that I got some money. I don't need to work. So she goes to South America. She takes a cruise down South America, has a ball, just enjoys herself all to heck. She gets back to America and she's like, you know what? Forget this. I'm going back to South America. But this time she's like, I'm going to do things a little bit different. I want to have more adventure than I could last time. I'm ditching the dresses. I'm going to go and be, dressed as a man. So this is how she earns her nickname Pancho. She goes back to South America and she rides on a banana boat. She dresses a man.
Banana boat.
Exactly. She books passage on a banana boat. And while she's on the banana boat, she discovers that the crew has this little secret that they did not tell her before she set sail. Turns out they are smuggling guns to the Mexican revolutionaries.
Oh, wow.
So she gets caught up in the Mexican Revolution. This is the Cristero Revolution when you had warriors for Christ fighting against the Constitution 1917.
It must have been much safer for her to travel in men's clothing.
Completely. 100%. Yeah, you're right on with that.
I know I am.
When she gets caught in her men's clothes with all the other revolutionaries, Mexican officials, they take the boat, the guns are seized, the revolutionaries are in prison, which includes Pancho Barnes. So she gets locked up as a revolutionary for about a month and a half. While she's inside, she bonds with this other American who was on the boat as well. His name was Roger Chute. And Roger Chute is the helmsman on the banana boat. Now, like Pancho, he's a well-off American, rich kid, and he's out there for, quote, the thrill of it.
Interesting.
Yeah, he's a Stanford graduate. He's a marine biologist, studies fisheries. So he's like a smart cat, well-to-do, footloose, fancy-free, just like Pancho. So the two of them decide, we need to escape this Mexican prison. So they manage to steal a horse and a burro, and they take off on burro-back and horseback.
Oh, wow.
And they head for the American border. But you know what? Now that we're free and in Mexico, maybe we should kick around for a little bit.
Hey, why not?
So they kick around Mexico. I figure you'd enjoy this.
Yeah.
They're eating good food, enjoying all the sights, learning some Spanish. They decide, we should become lovers. So
why not?
They become lovers. They spend 7 months bouncing around Mexico. At one point, they're like, we should probably get back to America. So they're in Mexico City. morning. They decide, we'll walk down to Veracruz. So they walk down to Veracruz, which is on the Gulf Coast, for those who don't know. It's about a 250-mile overland walk, but they want to book passage. So they're, traversing the Mexican countryside. And at this point, she's still known as Florence Leontine. So Flo is like, making a joke about her lover, Roger. And she's like, oh, you're like that windmill jousting hero, Don Quixote. And he laughs, and he's well-educated. So he's like, oh, then that makes you Pancho. It's a malapropism. She corrects him. She's like, Don Quixote's sidekick was Sancho Panza.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, right. He's like, well, no matter. The nickname sticks. They start calling her Pancho. So she becomes Pancho for the rest of her life.
That's a great nickname.
Right? It's a total great nickname.
I mean, it's not as good as Dizzy, but it's good.
You see me looking away for the camera? So Florence Leontine Lowe is now Pancho Barnes, right?
Pancho Barnes.
So Pancho and Roger, they head back to America and leave Mexico behind. They try to go up to the Mississippi, like where the waters are coming out in New Orleans. They make it to New Orleans. They get off the boat, and then they now have to cross America because they're both from California.
Yeah.
So they hitchhike. They train hop. When there's no vehicle available, they walk. They end up taking another huge trek, 1,700 miles from New Orleans to California.
So but these are like trust fund kids in essence.
Totally. And they're going to cross the Southwest, which is no easy place.
No.
If you miss that train, you're stuck in the Arizona desert.
Right.
Yeah. So they're like managing, right? Exactly. So on this, they get back to California, and now the lovers part ways. They're both, young and impetuous. Boom. Pancho settles into her life as a rich girl in San Marino. She's got this cousin who's got this new hobby. She's taking flying lessons. So Pancho's like, oh, I'll ride down with you. She sees the plane. She sees the instructor. She's like, I got to fly too. So she hops in there. Instant pilot. She just takes to it immediately. So she's, she has this is biplane era, right? So this is like when you're imagining like the leather-sided, open cockpit, double wings. So this is how she's flying. Now these planes, at least the one that she learned on, it had just one instrument. Didn't have an instrument panel.
Like an on-off switch?
Yeah, basically. There was an oil gauge to let her know how much oil the engine had. That's it. That's the only gauge.
No fuel.
No altimeter, no speedometer, no. So for the altimeter, what she had was you look over the side of the cockpit. That's how high up you are.
There's like a plumb bob, like a string.
No, they have that.
You're kidding.
That's how she knows how much gas there is. There is a string that you dip into the gas, and if it's wet, there's...
I could have built these early planes.
Exactly. If it's wet, there's fuel. If it's dry, try to land.
Exactly. Oh, God.
But also, there's like a horizon gauge in a plane. The horizon gauge is just a key chain tied, so if it's level, you're level. If it's not level, you probably want to look out the window. So that's how she learns to fly in this early flying machine, and she absolutely loves it.
Did she have the long flowing scarf and the leather skull cap?
The leather like helmet, and then the goggles on top, and then the white flowing scarf.
And Snoopy in the back.
And Snoopy and Woodstock both.
Yep.
Yes, you know it.
I was there.
So it took her only 6 hours before she could fly solo for the first time. That's unheard of. 6 hours. And she's like, I'm good to go.
She decides this.
Yeah, she's like, hey. And so she earns her pilot's license pretty quickly. She was so early in aviation history that Orville Wright signed her pilot's license.
No.
Yes.
No, that's like a joke. Like, you're so old.
Exactly. It's like you're doing the dozens. Like, your mama's so old. She got Orville Wright on her foot. Yeah, exactly. So now she's a pilot. She's got Orville Wright's imprimatur on her license.
Right.
She's like, I need a plane. So what does she do? Well, she's rich, so she goes and buys herself a nice biplane. She buys the Travel Air Speedwing, which is like a real cutting edge plane.
Can people walk on the wings?
Yeah, they could actually. It's that type of plane. So this one was owned by Howard Hawks, the film director of screwball comedies, like Bringing a Baby.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's like it's a well-maintained plane, but it's still pretty experimental, right? So the first time she flies it, she decides, I want to fly it across country. So she tries flying it.
The first time, okay.
Yeah, she has to set it down 8 times for emergency landings. 8 times.
8?
Like on the 6th time,
she couldn't just be
you're
like,
like,
I'm just going to tootle up to Pebble Beach.
Yeah,
and then
exactly.
No.
She's like, no, I'll make it. Up, bouncing down again.
Oh, boy.
So she's like, pretty good at flying. None of this is really terribly scary for her. So she starts competing in air races, and she starts doing barnstorming exhibitions. At one point, she has Pancho Barnes' Mystery Circus of the Air.
Mystery Circus of the Air?
Yeah, that's her flying spectacle.
That's amazing.
She also has her favorite stunt that she would pull was called the surprise parachute.
The surprise.
So apparently Pancho Barnes,
Get the old surprise parachute.
she would
there.
invite a member of the audience to take their first airplane flight. And because she's like, she remember herself as a young girl, she'd usually pick a girl. So she'd get a girl out on the plane. She'd strap the girl into a parachute so the kid would be safe. She'd take them up in the biplane. And once they are high enough that everyone could see them and the people look tiny from the ground, she would toss the child out of the plane.
No.
Without telling the child they're going to be tossed out of the plane, Elizabeth.
Wait, and then
Total surprise.
with a
Kid
parachute on?
is ejected from the biplane.
Wearing a parachute.
Yeah, wearing a parachute.
Whew.
The child plummets back to the earth.
They're like, surprise, no parachute.
Now, the child doesn't know how to yank the parachute
Well,
ripcord, right?
Oh my
so they had
God.
a string attached to the plane that would pull the ripcord from the plane.
Oh my God.
And if that didn't work, I don't know what's going to happen. It always worked. So no
my
kids
God.
were hurt, and the kid would parachute to earth. Now, I'm not a parent, right? But
Could you
imagine someone doing that to your child?
Oh my God.
So it was a different time.
Yeah, this is like far less litigious, I would imagine.
Exactly. Which is interesting because later on in her life, she sued everybody.
Well, yeah,
Yeah,
sue me,
so-
sue you.
Exactly.
But like, how many times was her life threatened by an angry father or mother?
No reports of that I could find, but I assume that
It
occurred.
has to
I mean, I
be,
just assume
yeah.
they didn't make the papers. I don't
Yeah.
know. 1929, a couple years later, she's doing the Powder Puff Air Derby. It's a race specifically for female pilots because there's a bunch now of female pilots going because Amelia Earhart is blowing everyone's
Because
minds.
flying is a gendered event.
Exactly. So she's coming in for a landing at one point, and the truck is trying to cross the runway ahead of her plane, and the driver misjudges the distance, doesn't realize how fast she's trying to come in.
Right.
She nails the truck on the runway.
Oh, you're kidding.
Totally walks away unscathed. Just like, yeah, well, it reminded me of the film The Great Waldo Pepper, which is a Robert Redford film about the early flying days, and he has a couple crashes. I just kept picturing her doing that. Like
Yeah.
the plane's upside down in the grass. She walks away like, oh, my scarf is singed.
Little Tommy Fitz in her.
Exactly.
Yes.
The lucky Moy. So, meanwhile, August 1st, 1930, she's flying in her new Travel Air Type R mystery ship. It's the new fastest plane that she can buy.
A mystery ship.
Yeah, right? Great name. So, Pancho Barnes officially becomes the fastest woman alive. Yes.
Wow.
She shatters Amelia Earhart's speed record, and the record at the time she gets is 196.19 miles an hour.
Whoa.
Yeah. So about the same time, she becomes friends with aviation maverick Howard Hughes, friend of the show.
Right.
And Hughes was designing aircraft unlike anyone else.
But
And-
she's doing this in like an air jalopy.
well, at this point, she's buying nicer and nicer planes.
It's not like a jet or anything.
No, nothing like that. These
No,
are all
they haven't
like
been
propeller
invented yet,
planes. It were 1930, so you can't even really fly
It's an
more
air
than a few
jalopy,
hours.
Zaron.
It's an air jalopy
Thank
with a
you.
big ratchet
With
in
a
front
big
that spins.
ratchet spinning. Yep.
So she and Howard Hughes have the same love of speed, so he hires her to fly in his movie The Hell's Angels, right?
Oh, okay.
So she becomes a stunt pilot in Hollywood, and then she
Wow.
starts a union for pilots called the Associated Motion Picture Pilots, and this is one of the first unions in Hollywood. So you can probably now start to see why she's a personal hero
Yeah,
of mine.
she's amazing.
Total badass, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's take a quick break, and then I'll get back into how Pancho Barnes got into a fight with the U.S. Air Force and became friends with Chuck Yeager.
Oh, wow.
Now, Elizabeth,
Yes, Zaron.
we're back.
Oh, we are?
Yeah, it's us.
Cool.
Now, you may have noticed when I was talking before that we were bouncing around in the early days of aviation.
Yes, I
Right?
noticed that.
I thought you would. You're pretty quick. And you've heard some iconic names, Howard Hughes, Amelia Earhart. So we are kind of sidestepping the fact that in 1930, there was another major social trend other than aviation shaping lives.
1930?
Yeah, the Great Depression.
Yeah. I was,
So, yeah, exactly. In 1929 stock market crash and kicks off the Great Depression. Pancho Barnes, an heiress. You'd think, oh, she's somewhat buffeted from all of the undulations of the stock market, but she isn't immune to the Great Depression. Pretty
Sure.
much no one was unless they were
Right.
super wealthy. So in early 1930s, she has to rent out her family estate in San Marino. Later on, this is the family home she grew up in where she had horses that she ride
Yeah.
at Tijuana, right? So the Depression, it drags on. She then has to sell the family estate. She leaves her life in Hollywood behind, and she leaves all of her hard partying, high-flying days, and she moves out to the desert.
Huh.
She buys herself a 4-room ranch house. It's located in a super rural area known as the Antelope Valley. Do you know the Antelope
I
Valley?
totally know where Antelope Valley is.
Okay, yeah.
Yes.
Like high desert, if you take the 5 out
Yes,
of LA.
yes.
Okay, so it's east of LA. It's in the mountains. It's on this high desert plain. And she buys this ranch. And surrounding her is this 180-acre alfalfa farm. And meanwhile, her neighbors are this place called Murrock Dry Lake. Murrock Dry Lake, it's a huge expanse of land, unsuitable for farming or anything else. It's pretty much just a dry riverbed, all dusty, broken earth. But it's the home of the young Army Air Corps. They use the dry lake as a testing ground for planes and pilots. And the training camp would one day grow and spread and become Edwards Air Force Base.
No way.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it starts back then.
Yeah, that was. I'm putting the map in my head right now. Makes
Totally,
sense.
right?
Yeah.
So Pancho Barnes, she sets up shop next to Murrock Dry Lake Training Camp. Being a pilot, aviation pioneer herself, she becomes fast friends with all the pilots, the officers. Soon enough, she's like opened up her place for pilots to come and drink and eat and relax. There's not really many places to go.
And they're all really enjoying the wildflowers in the spring, which is what Antelope Valley
is. The super blooms,
yes.
So the government signs contracts with her, and they have her supply the Army Air Corps with not only pilots and planes that she recommends and instructors that she knows, but also to sell them hog meat and milk. So she gets the trash from the base, she feeds it to the pigs, and then sells the pigs back to the base.
Hey, it's the circle of life.
Exactly. So by the end of the decade, the Depression, it's 1939, Pancho Barnes has created quite a spread for herself. She's managed her way through the Depression. She's now named the place Rancho Oro Verde, which, for those who don't speak Spanish, means Green Gold Ranch. So World War II...
Probably a reference to the poppies and the wildflowers.
Exactly, and the alfalfa.
Yep.
So,
well, that's...
World War II kicks off in 1939. 2 years later, the U.S. enters the fight after Pearl Harbor. Pancho Barnes' business is now a booming as the military ramps up its operations. That same year, 1941, Pancho Barnes enlarges her ranch. So now she adds a swimming pool. She adds a fish pond that's shaped like the new Air Force emblem because the Air Force is now the U.S. Army, the Army Air Force.
Well, yeah.
So they become the Air Force on their own because she makes it like that laurel wreath that they have. She's like, oh, I'll make a pool like that.
Wait, what?
Yes. So she creates a private hangar
She's
for
like
planes.
a super fan.
Totally.
She's like people who love an NFL team and everything in there.
Exactly.
Yeah, but
she has like a
hers is
Chiefs
the Air
helmet
Force.
for the pool in the backyard.
Yes.
So she also has a private hangar because she's still a pilot. So she has planes being able to land. She has 2 airstrips, and she puts in a racetrack.
Oh, why not?
Yeah, because she wants to get Hollywood people to come out.
She's got a need for speed.
Exactly. You get it. That's why she's my girl, right? To drum up business, she starts advertising in the LA paper. She claims that she has a, quote, modern flying dude ranch. Right?
Oh.
So it's the perfect place for the famous and the wealthy to come and kick up their heels and get away from it all. For $49 a week, she'll give you food, board, and all the fun you can manage. Right?
That's such like an old Hollywood. This is the perfect time for these things. Yeah.
I just, if I could go to a place like this,
you
know how much I would spend.
Exactly. You would be holed up in there.
Oh my God. Yes. Anyway, so the Hollywood crowd begins to wing out to Pancho Barnes' modern flying dude ranch. They mix with the pilots and the clientele. They all love each other. The pilots like the stars like the pilots, a fusion of both of her worlds. So now she can talk planes and plane crashes. She can spill gossip and talk shop. Both crowds are also hard drinkers, so everybody's really enjoying themselves, and she becomes this desert legend of like, oh, you got to go out to Pancho Barnes' place. The war ends, and so now Pancho renames her place Pancho's Fly Inn. Like, okay, right?
Because it's super fly.
Super fly, girl. So she upgrades it again. I thought you want to know. This time she adds riding stables. She adds motel rooms. She adds a rock fountain to go with the fish pond.
Beautiful.
She also expands her airport, adds a control tower and for her 2 airstrips. Huh. Yeah, and so the thing is that she loves horses, right? Like I've told you that. So she wants to make it so that everybody can ride horses all around the ranch. But when they get done riding, they shouldn't have to go back to the paddock and like in the stables. She's like, why don't you just ride right into the pool? So she creates a ramp so you can ride a horse right into the giant pool.
What?
Yes.
Wait, was she referenced in that movie, The Right Stuff?
Yes.
Okay.
She totally is.
It's all starting to come together.
That's the bar where they all go.
Yeah.
That's her place.
Okay. Yeah.
So 1947, the ranch earns a new nickname. A friend of Pancho Barnes is out there. He's at the ranch taking a horseback ride because she loves doing that and racing across the desert all fast. When they get back out from the trail, he tells Pancho, he's like, man, I love being back in the saddle again. It, quote, gave me a happy bottom. After a little teasing of her friend, the name sticks. Pablo renames her ranch the Happy Bottom Riding Club.
Did you feel happy in your bottom?
Exactly. How happy is your bottom? So
it made me feel so happy.
At the same time, my bottom is grinning. At the same time, the test pilots stationed out at Murrock Dry Lake.
But I was sad in my chest. Sorry, go on.
It's all right. No, you have any other body
I'm
parts
still working
with
it out.
moods?
I'm just working it out.
You got like a mournful elbow?
No.
So the pilots at Muroc Dry Lake were 1947. A big thing happens in 1947 that's not the Roswell air crash, but another big thing in the air. Do you know what it is?
No.
Break the sound barrier.
Oh, right.
This was
the
really
right
difficult.
Stuff.
Exactly. The thing you were talking about earlier. So this was super
the movie
difficult.
I'm pretending to have seen. I saw it. I just, me, memory, it's fuzzy.
Yeah, you were young. They're pilots. You were
It was
impressed
young.
with the
It was a
speed.
different time.
So the problem with the speed barrier is you like the pilots just couldn't manage to get up to it and
That's
break
a problem.
So it becomes this impenetrable wall in the air, right? So the pilots are all trying to do it. They're trying to figure out how to do it. They've got jets now. So that's the key. Obviously, the propeller won't get them fast enough, but the jets will, but they still can't get up to Mach 1. They're trying and trying. They don't know how to do it. So she makes a bet. Pancho Barnes says, I'll give a free steak dinner to whichever one of you flyboys manages to break the speed of sound barrier, right? So all these young test pilots and future astronauts.
They're like, oh, there's a steak dinner on the line?
Like, oh,
okay,
bet, Pancho.
now I'm really going to put my back into it.
So, yeah, they do. They really do. And there's one young pilot who is a favorite of hers. And this dude, his name is Chuck Yeager. So he was a hero of mine as a boy. Fastest man alive, the first person to break the sound barrier. I was a little sad to find out later on that he specifically worked to make sure that there were no black pilots at the Muroc Dry Lake training camp. There was one, and he made him leave.
Oh, you're kidding.
Yeah, so I was like, oh, Chuck, I used to
Chuck,
love
no.
you. Anyway, so like, whatever. Racism in the military, 1940s, no great surprise.
Yeah,
And he's like a good old boy.
yeah.
Anyway, so Pancho Barnes has her standing offer. Chuck Yeager goes, I'm getting that free steak dinner. Everyone knows that Chuck Yeager's most likely going to break it. What they don't know is that he and Pancho Barnes go out the night before. They're riding horses all fast in the desert because they love to go fast. He falls off the horse, breaks his ribs. The next day...
Yells, white power!
The next day, he has to go up and fly with broken ribs. Doesn't want anybody to know. He does it. He goes up and he breaks the speed of sound with broken ribs. That night, he goes back to the Happy Bottom Riding Club. They have an epic party. And so begins a tradition that every time a speed record falls, steak dinner at the Happy Bottom.
Oh, okay.
So she's digging this because it's all like her early days in the aviation. Everything's about speed. You know, she broke Amelia Earhart's speed record. They all know that. So everybody's just fast, faster. And they're just so happy in 1947. The war, they've won the war. Now they're about to be able to go into space. And they know this because these are also the young astronauts, as you pointed out with Right Stuff. So Pancho Barnes then gets bored with speed being the new prize. So she's like, you know what? No more steak dinners. I'm going to come up with something else. So she comes up with the booby prize. So the booby prize means
the happy boobies.
A pilot gets to walk across a sheet of rubber falsies. Like a whole sheet, like fake breasts.
Yeah.
So it's like walking
sheet?
across
Do they buy
coals.
them by the sheet?
I guess so. I
What
don't
does
know.
this mean,
she
Zaron?
knows somebody in Los Angeles who's
What
like, I got
happened?
plenty of fake chesticles for you. So
And they walk on them?
they walk on them like hot coals.
In their bare
and
feet?
And they go, hee, I think. I don't know.
Tee, hee. They're so happy in my bottom.
They're like, I'm so masculine and the boobies are touching
That is
my
so
feet.
weird. Wait, okay, so wait, when the sheet's like, how many wide do you think it is? Like
I'm
a
thinking
dozen?
like 3 feet.
So I don't know how many.
I have no
fake
idea. Let's
breasts
say
would-
180.
And these were like plastic?
These
or?
are rubber breasts that you would put in like as either a replacement or like as for cup girth, you know, if you want to build up the cups of the falsies.
Okay.
So that's what it is. It was just like a whole little
So
tickle.
that's what it is.
That's what it is, Elizabeth. It's just falsies. What can I tell you?
So, and this was what'd you say this was the second prize?
Yeah,
second
this is the booby prize.
So if you don't get a steak dinner, then you got to walk on.
You got to walk on the boobies.
Walk on the boobies.
And everyone goes, hee.
All right.
All right. So anyway, the Happy Bottom is now officially a pilot's hangout. It's just super masculine. Their photos are lining the walls.
They're like, we want to step on boobs.
Boobies.
Okay, well, I see where your respect goes.
So they have their decals everywhere. Their propellers are decorations. You can kind of imagine it. And there's also a strong female presence.
On the floor.
Well, it's due to Pancho Barnes because she hires out. She's a tomboy. She's like, we need some women in here.
Right.
So she hires hostesses to take care of the clientele. These hostesses would wait tables, they'd serve drinks, they'd entertain all the pilots and the other Hollywood clientele. She also had illegal liquor flown in to keep the party going. So she was like having liquor flown in from Mexico. And it was all well enjoyed, and much like the hostesses. But Pancho insisted it was all on the up and up. And I swear, she once said, and I quote, "We're not responsible for the bustling and the hustling that may go on here. Lots of people bustle and some hustle, but that's their business and a very old one."
Did the Hostesses have to wear outfits, like costumes,
nothing
where
like
they dressed
Hooters
as
or
like
things?
sexy penguins,
Sexy penguins?
sexy pelicans.
Pelicans? Where are you coming up with
I was
this?
thinking like birds,
Because in the air?
sexy.
The pelicans are sexy to you? Like big gulps?
Sexy seagulls.
We're gonna
Jonathan Livingston, sexy seagull.
We're going to talk about sexy after this.
All right.
So,
I don't want to talk about that.
Pancho Barnes, again, expands her resort. Things are going well. The booby prize is a huge success. She adds a dance
The booby
hall.
is a bird.
Booby is the blue-footed booby. So there you go.
Sexy.
boobies. She regularly hires bands and artists from LA to come out and play her ranch. It's like just
Guns N'
growing.
Roses?
Exactly. Just like Guns N' Roses. And LA Guns. And
In all the guns bands.
anything with guns from
Anything
LA.
with guns.
She also built a stadium for a rodeo.
A stadium?
Yes, like not, and this isn't some like fly-by-night affair. This was like with 3/4 Mexican bulls. I'm talking like a real rodeo, real stadium, officially sanctioned rodeo on the circuit.
Wow.
Yeah, exactly. Now, I should also tell you, Elizabeth, much like you, she was a singer of popular standards.
Much like me.
Yes, just much like
Yeah.
you.
Look at me.
See?
Yeah, there it is.
She wrote a number of songs. She recorded a few. She had a hit song called By Your Side, which was about her love of the Air Force and the relationship.
Oh, wait. So she wrote a love song to the Air Force.
It was about like their next door relationship. Like
By
I
your
live
side.
next. Yeah, exactly. By your side.
She's got an
It was a
unhealthy
hit song.
relationship with
It sold 1 million digits.
What?
Yes, or units. She shifted a
all
million
these
units.
fingers,
Yeah.
digits, big buckets. People are like, I'll give you 15 fingers for this 45.
How much for the boobies?
So, okay, By Your Side?
Yes, by your
All right,
side.
I'm going to have to look that up.
Yeah, it's a banger. I think
gonna
you'd
learn
love
it.
You could probably do it at weddings,
Probably.
funerals,
Yeah,
retirement
probably.
parties.
Probably.
So around the same time, Pancho Barnes.
I just show up and I'm dressed as a sexy pelican. And then I lay down my floor mat of prosthetic
face
breasts.
Uh-huh.
And then I go, and a 1, and a 2.
And you do the
then
old
everyone
soft
just
shoe.
runs for the door. Performing next at Sloths.
You could have performed at Pancho Barnes' wedding.
I probably should have. Did I? I don't remember a whole lot.
Well, I'll read it to you and you
Okay,
tell me
tell
if
me
it
all
sounds
about
if
it.
it sounds familiar.
Tell me.
The year 1952. It's her fourth wedding. None have lasted very long. And this time she falls for a younger man, one who she hopes can keep up with her. So her husband, his name was Mac McKendry. He was
13?
32.
Oh, he's 32.
Yeah.
How old is she?
52.
Good for her.
Yeah, right? So she gets herself some young meat and then says, let's get married. Chuck Yeager, you going to be there? He's like, you betcha. So he stands as her wedding attendant. The commanding officer of Edwards Air Force Base, General Boyd, he gives her away. 650 guests cheer on Pancho Barnes' wedding.
650.
It's a super short ceremony. It's a Native American Blackfoot ceremony. After the ceremony, she changes out of her wedding dress and puts on a pair of jodhpurs, a blouse, and white cowboy boots.
Oh.
Just a sensible outfit.
Meow.
The happy couple serve their wedding guests, and I quote, 4 whole roasted pigs, 80 pounds of potato salad, 16 gallons of Jell-O, and a 50-pound wedding cake.
So wait, pork, potato salad.
And a 50-pound
Jell-O.
wedding cake. And Jell-O.
Well, there's a lot of people, but dang, like you show up and they're like, just the Jell-O's been sitting out in the sun with the potato salad.
Want some Jell-O?
Wow.
Well, things were going well in 52. Everyone was happy. The music was a-bouncing. Her hits were going. The illegal Mexican liquors are flowing. The pilots and clientele, everyone's enjoying themselves. Hostesses, they're having fun. The booby prizes are being given out.
Right?
But it should be no surprise to you nor I that the decency police decided to step in and break up all the good times. The issue, though...
Out there in the desert?
Yeah, the issue wasn't the fight. It wasn't like a fight between drunken officers. It wasn't drunk pilots driving back to the base, streaking across the desert in their mid-century steel sleds. Nope, that's not the issue. Wasn't the illegal Mexican liquor being flown over the border. Nope. The issue was... the young women, the hostesses.
Oh, the sexy pelicans.
Yeah, they ain't hurt nobody, but they were the problem. So the young women Pancho Barnes had hired to play hostesses, they were mostly beautiful, vivacious people, the kind of women who'd like to hang out with hard-drinking, hard-charging pilots, Hollywood types who like to carouse. And Pancho Barnes, she ran a tight ship. She had house rules for the women. They were instructed to, quote, never be vulgar, never to drink too much. In fact, the full set of house rules was this: never spend an undue length of time with any one guest. Circulate. Be charming and pleasant to all guests. Don't just go for the guy with the wavy hair. Don't be vulgar at any time. Don't sit on guests' laps in public. Don't go automobile riding or flying without permission. Never are you allowed to accept money in remuneration for the more intimate aspects of romance.
Oh.
Yes. So one of the hostesses was a woman named Dallas Morley. She eventually became the head hostess. She cooked and bartended, and she could also play a mean honky-tonk piano.
Nice.
Just
That
like
sounds like a good...
Now, Dallas Morley once said of Pancho Barnes, quote, I got along with Pancho because when she'd cuss me out, I'd just cuss her right back, and she'd laugh, but she had most of the girls scared to death.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, see, you get the idea. Like I said, most of these women, they were vivacious women. Some were like Dallas Morley. They had strong independent streaks. Many of them were somewhat sexually liberated, more sexually liberated than their times. They were the sort of women who liked to sunbathe naked, swim nude in the hotel pool when no guests were around. And in the 1950s, this got lips a wagon, right? So rumors were swirling. They took on a life of their own. Soon there was talk that they were sex workers and that Pancho Barnes was the madam of this flyboy cat house. To keep things a bit private, she had restricted access. She had made it a members-only club. She said no enlisted men could go, only officers. She had 9,000 person membership.
Oh.
You had to personally know her, and she had to vouch for you.
9,000.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, and as for the rumors about it being a casual sex resort, my morally rigid, yet albeit wildly racist, Chuck Yeager said, Pancho's wasn't a cat house, but it wasn't a church either. So that gives you a little idea.
Yeah.
Now, despite having the endorsement of respected aviation hero Chuck Yeager and the tacit approval of the top brass at the Muroc Dry Lake Camp, now Edwards Air Force Base, the good times had to come to an end because that's just what happens to good times.
Yeah.
So why? As I told you, the aforementioned decency police.
Decency police.
Yeah. So after this short break, Elizabeth, I will tell you how Pancho Barnes went to war against the U.S. Air Force and their decency police.
Interesting.
All right, so where were we?
Just listen to some really great ads.
Yes.
They were so good.
Uh-huh. Oh, right. No, the Antelope Valley, California.
Oh, there's that too. Yeah.
Super Blooms.
Yes,
We were
Super
talking
Blooms.
about Pancho Barnes.
Yes.
Okay, so the trouble starts for my girl when the whispered rumors about her hostesses at the Happy Bottom Riding Club turn into an issue for the young and reputation-obsessed Air Force. We can't have our flyboys doing this, right? Now, some say it was just an excuse to get the land that was underneath Pancho Barnes' resort and private airport.
Oh, that makes sense.
Right? So there was this cat, General Boyd. He was the head honcho of the base. He was the one who gave Pancho Barnes away at her wedding.
Okay.
Totally tight with her. They would hug and embrace and everything, right? He gets replaced by Johnny Goodboy. The General J. Stanley Holtoner.
I thought his name was Johnny Goodboy. I was so excited.
Johnny Goodboy.
I was like, that's perfect. That's a perfect name for who he is. He's a tall drink of water, and his name's Johnny Goodboy.
Hey, General Johnny Goodboy here. So General J. Stanley Holtoner.
That's no fun.
Yeah, well, exactly. He is not a fun guy.
It's not fun.
He is what we in the good times industry call a killjoy. So when he heard about this bar where hostesses had fun with his test pilots, he decided someone needs to put a stop to this. And that someone is J. Stanley Holtoner.
Well, it doesn't seem like it was negatively impacting their performance.
No,
up
not at
until
all.
this point.
Nothing. It was, if anything, it was good for their performance.
She's incentivizing their success with steak dinners.
Exactly, and booby prizes. And they're
boobs.
also, they're flying, like they're stressed. They need a place to unwind, to relax, and be able to be themselves.
Sure.
Let them be. But he's like, no fun on my watch. No carousing. No sexy pool time. None of it. So, and since he's military, General Holtoner, he can't come down on Pancho Barnes because she's a private industry, right? So he's got to figure out an angle. So he waits. There's a fight at the bar. So he's like, oh, my pilots. This is enough for him to step in. He goes, no pilots, no military personnel can go to the Happy Bottom Riding Club. It is off limits for all base personnel.
Huh.
That's pretty much going to be the death knell.
Sir, yes, sir.
Yeah, right? But this isn't enough for Captain Killjoy. He's like, you know what I should also call? The FBI. So
what?
He called the FBI, Elizabeth.
Oh, is that who's in charge at that point?
J. Edgar Hoover.
That's right.
So he calls up J. Edgar and he's like, yo, and not literally, but he sends like a
He calls him beep boop bubble beep.
he sends like memos and letters.
J. Edgar.
J. Edgar gets this and he's like, what? The Happy Bottom Riding Club? Why don't I know
Count
about
me
this?
in.
Exactly. So he's all like, I gotta hear about these salacious rumors. I love salacious rumors.
Did you try and get a job as a hostess?
He and Clyde. There was a memo sent from future Chief Justice of the Supreme Court, Warren J. Burger, 2, J. Edgar Hoover. At the time, Berger was the Assistant Attorney General. In his 1953 memo to Hoover, Berger writes that the U.S. Attorney General's office will initiate a deep and wide investigation to answer the question of how happy the Happy Bottom Riding Club is.
Just how happy.
And he quotes, wants to know if Miss Barnes was operating a disorderly house. So J. Edgar's like, yeah, get on it and give me all the details. So
Take pictures.
The investigation of Pancho Barnes kicks off. And now, Elizabeth, I know you can imagine what this all leads to. But
I'm so good at imagining.
just for kicks, I'd like you to close your eyes.
Yes.
And picture it.
Okay.
It's August 1953. Muroc, Dry Lake, Antelope Valley, California, 3:30 p.m. There's a wide blue sky above you, a slight breeze from the northwest. On a fresh air break, you've seated yourself outside the private club just to enjoy the sights and sounds of the desert vista as it stretches off into the horizon. You've left your job behind in Hollywood. You were making lifts for short actors, and you wanted a new start. So you headed out to the desert where you've been working as the head hostess at a small private club and airport. You've only worked at the Happy Bottom Riding Club for the last few months, but you're loving the vibe of this place. You love the women you work with, and you like the mercurial, hard-cussing, hard-drinking boss, Pancho Barnes. For the first time in a long time, you're happy at work. And the flight tests for the day are done, so the skies above you right now are quiet. But in the distance, you spot a cloud of dust approaching. It looks like a Ford sedan. The beige car appears dust-covered. It could be a blue sedan for all you know. It's that dust-covered.
Yeah.
But you watch the 52 Ford approach. It grows louder and louder as it grows closer and closer. Finally, the sedan pulls up just outside the Happy Bottom Riding Club. Doors open. 2 men in gray flannel suits step out. They flash badges at you and identify themselves as FBI. One of the agents asks a question he knows the answer to. He says, "Is this the Happy Bottom Riding Club?" Now, you don't like to be asked a lot of questions, so you sass the FBI agent.
Of course.
No, this is the Pushy Bottom Beach Club. Happy Bottom's down the road.
Oh, God.
So neither agent laughs.
I'm not surprised.
These are the new IBM punch card agents. These are the humorless agents. These are gone are the charming and daring spies of the war years, as if they never really existed. What you don't know is these are also really good at their job spies. 1953 is a banner year for the FBI. J. Edgar Hoover has his bureau humming. They stay busy hunting down fugitives and bagging names on the FBI's most wanted list. They've been catching 2 fugitives a month, every month this entire year.
Wow.
It's one of their record years. They catch 24 felons this year. It will be a record that will not be surpassed until the social upheaval of 1968.
Well, yeah.
Now, how could you know that these 2 gray flannel suit wearing paper cutouts are good at their job? Why would they look like a joke to you?
Yeah.
You're used to flyboy, future astronauts, aging test pilots. Who are these bozos?
Yeah.
The FBI agent tells you, "We're going to need to interrogate all the hostesses." And you're like, on whose authority?
Yeah.
You're like, U.S. Constitution? But of course, you know they mean J. Edgar Hoover.
Right.
So you're like, okay, whatever. You walk back to the hotel rooms where all the hostesses are staying. You're like, look, the FBI's here. They're like, what do you mean? Some of them, they're naked. Some are in silk robes. Some are in bathing suits. You're like, girls, you got to get yourselves together. You got to come into the bar and talk to them. So the FBI's like, look, it's not a request. They're here. They're like, okay. So they go all in. And now Pancho Barnes, she's gone right now. She's away getting hogs for a big pig roast. So you're in charge. And you've learned from the House Un-American Activities Commission and the Red Scare that you saw in Hollywood, don't lie to the FBI.
Right.
So you tell the girls that. And so then you send them in to go get grilled by the FBI agents, one at a time. They go and sit down with the FBI agents, and you're watching them agonizing, hoping that they're doing okay. Then once they're excused to leave, you pull them aside and you go, what did they ask you?
Yeah.
And then the girl's like, oh, they asked me these weird questions. Like, what? They're like, have you ever been in the white slave trade? Like,
Chuck
the white
Yeager.
slave trade.
What rumors have you been spreading?
They're like, well, they're like, also, is there any gambling going on? Are there like Mexicans being flown in? And you're like, what are you talking about? Yes, like Mexicans and dope. Are they flying that in? People are like, I don't know what you're talking about. So when they're done, the hostesses are barely able to get the place set up in time for the evening crowd. You secretly are waiting for the sheriff to show up that night and arrest you all and drag you off as sex workers. They don't come, nor do his deputies. Despite of all this talk of the white slave trade and smuggling Mexicans into the country, the FBI agents conclude their investigation. They find no evidence of any crimes. No one will say anything against Pancho Barnes. So you are free to continue your life of leisure and happiness with all your half-naked dancer friends.
Nice.
Elizabeth, you might think having a legal tussle with the FBI, well, that couldn't get any worse than that for Pancho Barnes. And you'd be wrong. Because the Air Force is like, damn it, I sicked J. Edgar Hoover's boys on. Why didn't that work? Well, I guess we're going to have to go one step beyond that. So they go up to eminent domain.
Yeah.
Because Pancho Barnes had been spinning all of this to her benefit. She'd been talking about, let the rumors persist. She decided once the FBI declared I'm fine, she's like, let them go. Tell them we're all sex workers. I don't care anymore. So, basically like P.T. Barnum and Kanye West, she decided, look, there's no such thing as bad publicity. So now her friend Chuck Yeager used to say of Pancho Barnes, quote, if her rumor enhanced her personality, she didn't dispute it. If it didn't have to be true or not true, but that's the way Pancho was. She wasn't dumb. She was a very smart old gal. So now this smart old gal has to deal with the U.S. Air Force bringing full power that they can against her during the Cold War.
Right.
So they have all sorts of powers. They use eminent domain. Cut to Captain Killjoy, General Hole Toner. Squares up for round 2. He decides he's going to make public the Air Force's plans to seize all the land underneath the Happy Bottom Riding Club. He lets it be known that they're going to put in a new 22-mile super runway complex for the new atomic-powered airplanes the Air Force has on the drawing board. I'm going to say that one more time. Atomic-powered airplanes, Elizabeth. Like, atomic-powered subs are one thing, but nuclear-powered aircraft?
That's terrifying.
If it crashed, you have an ecological disaster. Like, wherever that plane crashes, the Air Force, it took them a little while. They're like, you know what? We're probably not going to do that.
Maybe not such a good idea.
But anyway, it doesn't matter. Captain Killjoy's like, yeah, runways, atomic planes. So he's like shaking this at her. And so Pancho Barnes decides, you know what? Sue you, sue them, sue everybody. She goes after the Air Force, and she goes into court to, quote, roust out the scoundrels in the government who could perpetrate such an injustice. Right? She sounds like Mark Twain.
Yeah.
So she acts as her own attorney. Never a good move, but it works out for her. She's the rare exception.
We do warn against that.
Right? Every single time. Well, the LA newspapers, they're siding with her. She's given them good press coverage, great quotes. The fight, it is not brief. It lasts a long time, but the people and the papers are on her side. The Air Force, because it's, once again, I told you, the early days of the Cold War, and much like the FBI, they're pretty much feeling themselves. They just seize the land anyway.
Yeah.
Eminent domain.
Yeah.
And they're like, you know what? We're into like killing joy, making things less sexy. No fun. We love that. It's the 50s. What do you want from us? And you're like, dude, you want a world war for this? Like, what the hell? But anyway, Pancho Barnes, living spirit of early aviation, reckless and joyful days are pretty much over. She's now fighting the U.S. Air Force in court all the time. It gets mad costly, but she won't give up. She's like, the Happy Bottom Riding Club deserves a fight. So things, though, then take a fatal turn because in November 1953, there's an explosion inside the dance hall. A fire tears through the resort. It's mostly wood. It's in the desert. Firefighters can't get there in time. The Happy Bottom Riding Club burns to the ground.
That is suspicious.
There was a lot of accusations of arson.
Sure.
I accuse them of hateration in the dancery. Like Mary J. Blige would not support
that kind of
this.
hateration.
But anyway, no one gets caught. No one gets arrested for the fire. Mary J. Blige would also be upset about that.
Yes.
But Pancho Barnes, as I said, she's like, this is arson, but there's nothing she can do about that. People there who were there that night of the fire, though, they risked their lives to run in over and over again to save all the priceless, irreplaceable memorabilia,
this
aviation
was in the
history.
Movie, The Right Stuff,
yes,
right?
It was. You love that movie.
It's all coming back to me.
So Pancho Barnes, she'd kept a scrapbook of her life in the clouds. One of her friends, like co-workers, one of the hostesses, they managed to get in and get the scrapbook and save it. So that's like the big thing that she's most happy about. And in her ongoing battle to save her land, after it's burned down, the Air Force has already seized the land underneath it. She then pretty much has to go back into court and remind the Air Force that her grandfather, Thaddeus Lowe, founded the U.S. Air Force. And they're like, oh, that's right. She's in the days of Abraham Lincoln. And they're like, yeah, that's true. Like, he made you. And they're like, okay, fine. And so she wins her legal battle. The Air Force backs off. They give her $400,000 for her land. And they also then clear her name. And she insists they clear the names and reputations of all the women who they besmirched as hostesses.
Nice.
Which, I thought you'd like that.
Yeah.
So the Air Force later then scraps its plans for its new super runway complex. And the runways never get built. All that fight for nothing. No atomic planes ever hit the air. In her retiring years, though, Pancho Barnes begins to turn that scrapbook that was saved into an autobiography. And she also, I thought you'd like this, spent her time breeding Yorkshire Terriers.
I like that
Just
a
relaxing.
lot.
She gets back to her animal lover ways,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Full circle. And in 1971, one of her friends, a former test pilot from the Muroc Dry Lake days, invites her to Edwards Air Force Base to celebrate her 70th birthday. That friend was friend of the show, Buzz Aldrin.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And now each year, the Air Force sets aside one calendar day to celebrate her. Fittingly, it's called Pancho Barnes Day. And it's kind of like a small mea culpa from the Air Force. They're like, look, we totally jacked up on that one. And it ends up, though, in a nice little turn of events. At the end of the night, there's an adults-only portion of the evening. They brought back the sexy. So Pancho Barnes once said, and I quote, "The most important thing is to be yourself. So don't even try to be like someone else, because we've seen that already."
Oh,
I like that
I like
quote.
that a lot.
So, Elizabeth, I got to ask you, since you'll never ask me, what's our ridiculous takeaway here?
My ridiculous takeaway is whatever your ridiculous No, I love the dynamic nature of her life, all the different elements of it, but also the fact that she, went toe-to-toe with some serious
Dude, J Edgar Hoover, U.S. Air Force, the Mexican authorities of the revolution.
Yeah.
I mean, she wasn't afraid, didn't back down.
Exactly. Zaron, what's your ridiculous takeaway?
Wait, say that again?
Zaron, what's your ridiculous takeaway?
Oh, that sounds so nice.
Doesn't that sound good? Never heard that before.
Thank you for asking, Elizabeth. Mine is, if someone isn't hurting anyone and they're just being sexy or whatever they're doing, let people be.
That's the big
mind your own decency.
Yes.
Don't worry about my decency. My decency is between me and God and the devil or whoever I believe in. But, look, some people, they want to get naked in the pool. Let them. Who cares?
Yeah.
We all need all the sexy we can get on this planet.
Well, think about it, too. The amount of man hours and money and resources spent to fight sexy pool time. It's ridiculous.
All the hours. I mean,
there are a lot of other things you could be doing,
and it's
FBI.
like those pilots needed that. I mean, not just the sexiness, but all of it. Being able to cut loose and just be themselves and out in the desert. It's not like, we have to worry about the kids seeing them or any of that stuff.
It's a very specific subculture.
Exactly.
It's a very specific, lifestyle and mindset for those.
We need to make room for... It's like I always say, like, if you're going to make a plan in the future, you need to leave a little space for crime. Because it's going to be there.
Yeah, it's really
true. You're not going to get rid of crime. You can talk about what crimes occur. You can talk about which crimes you allow, but there's going to be somebody who breaks the law.
In question is just like debauchery.
Exactly.
Like you
so
said,
you have to
it's
ask
not
yourself,
hurting anybody.
Is this really a crime?
It doesn't sound like those women were exploited working there.
Not from what I could tell. From what I could tell, they were all willingly being there, and there wasn't any active prostitution. Now, maybe some of them got a little sideways and did some side hustling.
They were picking up handsome flyboys. I don't blame them.
Yeah, the ones with the wavy hair.
That's right. The ones with they're bald on the top and just the edges wavy coming down.
A very specific look.
Like Ben Franklin.
He liked air baths, so I could see that.
Well, there you go.
Right?
It's all there.
It's all about the air.
All of the evidence is there.
Well, that's all I got for you today, Elizabeth.
Well, it's pretty good. Thank you.
Well, Well, you can find us online, Ridiculous Crime, on Twitter and Instagram if you'd like some more. That's on the Bird, we got the words, and on the Gram, we got the pictures. So check them out. And also, if you want to hit us up, we've got these talkbacks you can do on the iHeart app. You can email us at ridiculouscrime@gmail.com. You can also just shout into the wind.
You can write a fun rap.
Yes!
About us and record it on
a fun rap.
Record it on Talkback.
Please
just a
do.
fun rap.
That would be amazing.
Rap.
Well, thanks for listening. We'll catch you next time. Ridiculous Crime is hosted by Elizabeth Dutton and Zaron Burnett. Produced and edited by the Ratchet Daddy of the Happy Bottom Riding Club, Dave Kuster. Research is by the Fastest Women in Facts, Marissa Brown, and Andrea Song Charpentier. Our theme song is by Thomas Travel Air Special Lee and Travis Type R Mystery Ship Dutton. Executive producers are Ben Buzz Bolin and Noel Neil Brown.
Ridiculous Crime.
Say it one more time.
Ridiculous Crime.
Ridiculous Crime is a production of iHeartRadio. For more podcasts from iHeartRadio, visit the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you listen to your favorite shows.